This video is going to talk about compression because who doesn't want to hit it more solid? When we hit it solid, we have a better predictability of our flight and we get the most out of our ball. No matter how fast you swing the club, if you hit it solid, the ball is going to be optimum for you. And I'd like to start this discussion by talking about what TrackMan calls impact location, Foresight calls strike point. It's where the club hits the ball. And the thing that we notice is that the best players hit the ball closer to the sweet spot, which is about the fifth groove up on the club face. Now, if I took this ball and put it on a table and I lined this club up with the shaft vertical on the table with the club sitting nice and flat, that golf ball is touching about this second or third groove from the ground, from the bottom of the club. That's low on the club face. In order for the sweet spot to hit the back of the golf ball, I have to lean this club forward almost 20 degrees. That means that this 40-degree club leans forward 20 degrees just to hit the sweet spot. Now, when I talk about those numbers, all I'm trying to show you is a significant amount of de-lofting, meaning that the club has to be leaning forward when the club face hits the golf ball. And a lot of this stuff sounds a little bit silly to say because we've been beaten over the head with this for years. But if we set up to the golf ball in a way that doesn't promote that, then it's going to be hard to find it down at the ball. I mean, there's lots of golfers that feel as though that the proper setup with the iron has the club straight up and down and the club face on the back of the ball. Now, if we did that, that ball is going to hit low on the face and it's going to be slow because the second I set up with the golf club in front of my arms, the club's already slow and it's not pointed in the right direction. The best players in the world set up to their shot. Now I have this line here, this vertical line, the line on the ground, and that's going to show you basically like the bottom of my swing. That's where the deepest point of my divot is. For every golfer, it's below where their shoulder is. That's the deepest point of the divot. So with my driver, I set up like this. With my wedge, I set up like this, in the same way. So my hand stays there, and there I am with my driver, looking pretty normal, and then there I am with my wedge, looking pretty normal. We want to try and make sure that the handle leans forward to take that angle away from the face just so the club hits the sweet spot, just so the ball hits the sweet spot. Next time you're practicing, get one of the sticks, put it on the ground, and put a ball somewhere behind the stick with your hand on the line. So the top of the club on the line, but then back of the bottom of the club down there behind the ball. And then when you set up like this, it might feel like a significant amount of forward lean. But if you want to do this at home in a mirror, try that first so you can see what it looks like. Because most golfers that set up with their hands forward feel awkward at first until they see themselves at setup thinking their hands are forward and they're all the way back here, almost promoting scooping the golf ball. So if we're talking about compression and hitting it solid and getting the most out of your shot, ensure that you're starting with the club leaning forward and the club face pointed where you want this ball to fly, and make sure that you come back down and the club hits the ground in front of the golf ball. Doesn't have to be steep, just has to hit somewhere in front. Because remember, when you set up with your hand forward, you're already building in where your divot's going to start. And if you put the club back here, now you're building in some compression.